connector right here slides out. No thanks. I don't want to get married.
Sorry, I don't want to get married.
The second annual Smokey and the Bandit Tour. We will revisit more than a dozen filming locations in and around Jonesboro, Georgia. But this year we're going to show them in the order they appeared in the movie so it's easier to follow along. I'll try my best to recreate some of the camera angles. You're going to see clips from the movie filmed back in 1976, and you'll see those locations as they are in July of 2023. So buckle up, grab a Coors, and watch along. With Snowman's house being torn down many years ago, it's hard to pinpoint the exact location of his house, but it was approximately in this area where the trees are. Plus, you'll have a couple reference houses around you can see in the background here. So we are parked where Snowman's house was at. So Snowman's house has been right around here. Bandit pulled the 18-wheeler from down that way. He came down and he turned left and come in this way. Of course, I don't know if this is exactly the tree or not, but they tore the house down. I'm assuming this road right here was his driveway. I think, and the house would have been right here. But either way, watch where I step. I don't want to step on a bee's nest because there's a lot of bees flying around out here. Used to be an old house right here on the left. That would have been right over in there. There was an old house there and it was painted blue and teal. You'll still see it in Google Earth pictures. But they apparently torn it down and built that. So the 18-wheeler came down from down there, come down this way, then turned in right here where I'm at to where probably turned in that road right there, and I'm standing probably in the front yard of what would have been Snowman's house. Matter of fact, you'll see right there when Bandit drives off, see the railroad tracks there. That was Main Street for Jonesboro, and we're on what used to be 138. They've since moved 138, but yeah, they came up from down that way right there with the 18-wheeler. Very beginning of the movie, when Bandit leaves the Lakewood Fairgrounds, he comes down this way with his 18-wheeler Transam in the back of it. There we go. You see all these old oak trees right here. I don't know which tree is which because, I mean, God, it was 50 years ago. So who knows what tree was what. But these trees right here would have all been around Snowman's house. If you look right above the mirror of the Trans Am, you can see Main Street back there with the railroad tracks in the background. Also, as Bandit drives off here, look at the White House in the background. Now, that house was there maybe 2 years ago. If you watch older videos, you'll see it. It's that house you're looking at right now. Looks like it's blue with a kind of red or a pink roof. That house is the same White House you saw Burt Reynolds drive off past. Now, if you're watching my video from 2023, that house has now been torn down and is some kind of a big apartment complex. But as of a year or two ago, that house was still standing there. Your reference point here is off in the background on some really tall power lines. Now, nowadays, they are covered up with trees, but here you can see them really clear. Good Lord. A lot of cars here. One more. All right, so last year you couldn't see this because the brush is overgrown, but we're parked roughly where Bandit's Trans Am was parked. You see Mundy's Mill Road there. And you'll see the power lines off on top of the screen up there. So I may have to zoom in and crop this out, but either way. As soon as I get an opening, I'm gonna reach out where I can see the road. There's a lot of traffic. There is no way the truck driver knew what we were doing, but in the movie, Snowman also honks his horn as he passes by the Bandit. All of this is looking for an opening. So you might not want to do this exactly the way I do. Here we go. All right, so you see the power lines off up there. We are parked where it said, "Welcome to Texas." So you might not want to do this exactly the way I do. Here we go. All right, so you see the power lines off up there. We are parked where it said, "Welcome to Texas." Now, when we filmed this, we had just left Snowman's house. We're not even a mile from his house here in downtown Jonesboro. You'll notice the train station. Wayne's Grocery is still there. It looks completely different now, but you'll notice the same windows being cut out there. Where we picked the Coors up, it has a new face put on it. It now has a brick front, but the original wall is still there. We're going to see it in a minute. And that's the building right there, Clayton County Arts Gallery. All right, so the train station right here was where they came from. They were coming towards us. Drove down through here, went right down there. All right, this is downtown Jonesboro. The art gallery is where they picked up the beer. So this building right here says Tree something Big Tree Cafe. That's where they Bandit parked at when he came in the first time. They actually moved down slightly in the second cut. Anyways, this downtown Jonesboro. See if I can get outside on the road a little bit and film this. Ain't no cars coming. So they came from down there, and they came down and pulled up right there and picked up the beer right there. Bro, the art gallery is where they picked up the beer. And they came down and pulled up right there and picked up the beer right there. Now here you got to pay attention to where Bandit kicks the door open, and then they swing open the big doors to pick the beer up. That's where we're about to show you when we walk inside the art gallery.
Big town, ain't it?
The Arts Gallery of Clayton County. This is the building. All right, so we're inside. They've built a new front on this building years ago, and now it's an art gallery. But this cutout right here was the door that Burt Reynolds kicked down to get inside, and the fold-up, roll-open doors they drove the forklift through would have been this opening right here. So yeah, this is actually inside the art gallery.
Where the brewery was, where they actually had the Coors brewery was.
Bandit comes down the highway right here, slides out. No thanks. I don't want to get married. That's what I wanted to film, right there.
Sorry, I don't want to get married.
And now we're on the other end of Mundy's Mill Road. Pay attention to your surroundings right here. There's a whole lot of scenes in the movie filmed right here in this, what I'm calling this triangle between Highway 54, Mundy's Mill Road, Mundy's Mill Pond, and what is now Mundy's Mill High School. Of course, in making this movie, Mundy's Mill High School wasn't there yet. But yeah, pay attention to this area, and I'll narrate some as we go. Right here, we're at the Roadblock intersection. As soon as we take a right, we'll be where we pick up Frog. All right, we are coming down the road now. This is where Bandit was driving. He comes down this way here, and he slides out somewhere down around here, and our Chris Road was a little bit farther over to the left in the movie. We're on the new addition. Right about here where the new and old road joined together, this is where he slid sideways, picked up Sally Fields. She was parked on the right here. And then it took off down this way.
That'd be right.
It was right back here. Because right after he pulled off, the van come out of that road to the left.
Yeah.
And there was a blue car coming out. This white car is here, like he wants to come out in front of us. And to see when he picks her up, when he pulls up to see her in the side of the road, in the middle of the road, there's a blue car pulling out right there. And when he decides to pick her up, the car's gone. Disappeared. This Star Trek started about the same time they beamed her away.
Yeah.
All right, so after that bad joke, we're coming back the opposite direction. We're going to pull off on the side of the road here. We're going to park where the red van pulled out. It's open. All right, we're on the side of Mundy's Mill Road, and in this scene, what it's most famous for would be Snowman and Bandit had just left Texarkana, and they were coming down this hill right here, come right down to here, and this is where Sally Fields is broke down right about there. Bandit comes in and slides his car sideways, picks her up, and then they abandon the car. Right as they drive off, you pan back, Snowman's coming down the hill over here, and then they drive off that way, and right where my Jeep's parked at, what's that thing called? A van. The van comes out from the side right here, and he comes out and pulls off right here and goes to steal the wheels off that car. And about that time, Sheriff Justice pulls down the hill, pulls up behind him. So yeah, as soon as I get an opening in the cars, I'm gonna get here and try to film a section from the road so you can see that. From the road, you can kind of see what it looked like in the road. And then this is back that way, right there. So you see that red light right there, remember that. When I get off the road, I'll tell you. There is where the roadblock was, where they had the sheriffs up on top of the hill. Would be something County, Arkansas, I forget the name of it now. I'll edit it later and let you know what it was. They had the roadblock there, and a whole bunch of scenes in the movie are filmed right here on these three roads. There's a pond right over there, Mundy's Mill Pond, and that's where the sheriff backed into the pond. I might have said that already. I don't remember if I told the camera, if I told her. And then that was all that right there was Mundy's Mill Pond area, and that was a gravel road back in the day. Now it's a high school, so we'll see if we can get in there and film something from in there. All right, and right here I do my best to try to frame it up to look the same. All right, the road used to follow the power lines. They've since moved the road over here to make an intersection. But this intersection right here is where the roadblock was. All right, for these scenes, they're on a flatbed trailer doing the dialogue. But look in the background are all the river crossings you're seeing the signs for. This is actually Highway 54, and this is in the vicinity where Flint River and Camp Creek meet each other and join together. So yeah, all up and down the same stretch here. And actually, as you continue in the direction they're going, you're about to be where the roadblock was for Decent County, Arkansas, and where Fred went for a swim, and all the other scenes. All right, we're at Highway 54, and we're going to go up here and take a left and go back down Mundy's Mill Road from the opposite direction. To the right up here, you see the power lines right there, and then down to the left this way. There was a lot of driving back and forth on this road when they were filming this movie. And this is where Camp Creek and Flint River come together. So
I told her we might not be able to go on the weekend.
Alright, we'll respond to her in a split second here. But yeah, up here on top of the hill up here was where the roadblock was. And they were coming the opposite direction. And we're about to make a right-hand turn and go the correct way down Mundy's Mill Road. Alright, we're going to Mundy's Mill Pond. This is a more obscure reference in the movie. This little gravel road is actually the road where the red van was parked in the movie. And when the sheriff backs his car into the pond here, you'll notice the building right there in the background with a yellow sign that says the day fish for $1 or something like that. This building is long since gone. Now there's a little monument set up for them, but the pond is still there. And it's just surrounded by a school, so anytime during the school year, you really can't see it because it's usually fenced off. All right, so we're actually behind Mundy's Mill School. I think the pond will be right there. We're going to try to see if I can get a clearing in the trees and try to film it. But right there behind them trees is that mill where the sheriff backs his car into, right behind Mundy's Mill High School. Alright, so we are at Mundy's Mill Fall. I'm not going to read all of this. I wonder if they mentioned Smokey and Bandit in here. I don't. Alright, I've held it long enough you can pause the screen and film it yourself. But you'll remember this building right here in the movie. When he backs off into the pond, you'll see this building in the background as a guy was fishing on the pier. On the dock. So this is something they made. I don't know what it is. I guess this was part of the mill. They must have changed a lot of stuff when they built the school. Probably said it in the sign that I didn't read back there. Yeah, cool little thing you can come by and see. You can see what's left of the pond down there.
That's sad.
You got a view of it down there? No. Okay. Well, I can see it a little bit from up here. Crop this out. You can see the pond. Oh, hey, there's another sign right there at the mill. Let's go down here and film that sign too. All right, this is the sign. Oh, they're displaying how the mill made power. Okay, gotcha. Now, what's about to happen here is I'm about to drive 20 feet and go park down to the road, and I'm going to film the scene with me holding the car when he slides sideways. But what's going to happen is on the way down there, I'm going to see another entrance to the pond. So get ready for that. We're about to see a lot better view of Mundy's Mill Pond. All right, we came from here, drove to here. This might be a end credit scene or something. All right, look top left of your screen. That's where the red van pulled out right there. How do you like that drive? That's almost as far as Snowman's house to Texarkana, wasn't it? All right, so we're about to leave. We found a better view of Mundy's Mill Pond. So there's the pond right there through the trees. Come through this path right here so I can get a better view down here. Be the ponds. Somewhere or another on here where they backed into. I know it was near the dam, which we are standing on right now. So after all that filming, this right here is Mundy's Mill Pond. See, all you do is get out and walk around, you can see it. This would have been a spillway of some kind. So this would be where the house was, right about here. You see all the rocks? There was like a little spillway here. There's a little waterfall right there. So back in the day when they were doing this was actually the pond. How cool is that? And there I am parked right there. All we had to do is pull off and walk in. You can see it. So, good view of the waterfall here. We're at Mundy's Mill Pond. This looks like it was where the mill used to be. Where the pond was. So, yeah, this is where, somewhere around here is where they would have been fishing on a dock. The dock might have been over there, I don't know. We'll go back and watch the movie now so you can recognize it. This looks nothing like it did in the movie though. So. But in the sign you saw when you came in, you'll see a picture of the old mill that said $1 to fish, and the sign was yellow in the movie. Cool. All right, so now that we've found this cool spot for the pond, right behind Mundy's Mill High School, what we are actually gonna do here is I was gonna go down with this car, film a scene down here. So I'm gonna leave this in the video some kind of way to show you just how close it was, because right there is where they picked up frog at. And right there is where the pond was that they backed the sheriff's car into. Right on the other side of the school over there is where the barn was. You can see in the background. Right behind that barn is where the pond was, where Fred went for a swim. And the roadblock wrapped around the right, and this little triangle looping back down to here was all in the movie several times. So yeah, cool. All right, now this is Google Earth at that triangle I keep referencing. We're at the intersection right here where the roadblock was early in the movie. To the right over here is where Bandit picks up frog. Just to the left of that in the woods is the mill I was telling you about, where the pond is. Then that's the high school I keep referencing right there. The barn you'll see is in the background during the roadblock, and also several driving scenes. That's actually at the entrance to the school over here. And then at the trees over there on the other side of the school is where Fred's pond is. So I'm about to break this down and go over all of these areas on Google Earth so you can see that. Now, we are looking opposite direction that Bandit was driving up to the roadblock. We're actually going to go right here to the barn you see in the background as he's driving up. That barn is right here at the entrance of Mundy's Mill High School, or at least somewhere around it. But you see the trees at the top of the screen and that pond right behind it. This pond right here is where Fred went for a swim. So that's what I was saying. All these scenes are all filmed right here in this one little triangle. All right, here we'll go to the street view of the pond. You can kind of see the little white house off back here in the background. And you can't pull off here on the road no more and look at it. Plus, there's been construction here for years. So, but that's still the same house. It's still there. The pond is still the same. It's just, since they four-laned the highway, it is right up to the side of the highway now. And looking back that way, that's where the roadblock was, up on top of that hill up there. We'll actually zoom in down that way and get a better view. All right, so again, we're back in front of the school, and that intersection right there is the way Bandit was looking as he drove up to the roadblock. And yeah, I did my best I could to cover this from the side of the road, but with so much traffic here, it's hard to cover, so I just have to do a little bit of voiceover here on Google Earth, but I'm still going to get all these scenes also filmed first-person view as well. All right, so this is the intersection, again, where the roadblock was. We're going to zoom down right here. We're going to look in all three directions, and I'll tell you what scene was filmed in each direction from this intersection. So looking this way, this is the roadblock. This is the way you were seeing Bandit driving up to the roadblock from the cop's perspective, not from Bandit's perspective. There was a barn right there in the hill. Down to the right here, that's where they picked up Frog, right there, or in that turn. And looking this way, down there is the two rivers I mentioned earlier where they were crossing over, doing all the flatbed dialogue scenes. I mean, again, I know these stories because my dad told me this. He watched them film the movie back in the 70s. And I've heard this my whole life, so now I get to share it with you. All right, that's enough of Google Earth. Let's get back on Mundy's Mill Road and film the mailboxes. All right, so straight ahead, you see these mailboxes on the left-hand side. This is where Bandit catches up to Snowman. You see there's power lines off up here on top of the hill. Behind these pine trees, you can't see them. I'm about to pull a Google Earth or something so you can see them.
Yes, you got your ears on, son.
Oh, bring it on, you lucky devil.
And another good note here, these mailboxes to the left, that's actually where Willow's Bend neighborhood is. And you'll see the signs for Willow's Bend all in the background through the movie. This was a new neighborhood 50 years ago. There. So all the really high power lines are over there on the right. Bandit catches up to Snowman, and he goes off here on the side of the road. Up here, I think about a mile or so down the road. He goes off in the kind of in the right-hand side, takes out a bunch of mailboxes to get around him. So that's where we're at now, as we're passing where the jump was, right back there. And you know, 25, 30 years ago, I could show you exactly where these mailboxes were, but I can't find them now. It has changed so much through this area. I don't recognize this area hardly at all anymore. So I showed you approximately where it was. I can't remember exactly where it was. I've kind of lost that spot over the years. So back to the mailboxes here. You see the trees now blocking the view of the power lines back here. So what we're going to do is go on Google Earth here on Mundy's Mill Road, and we'll look ahead. You can see right there, that little fuzzy-looking thing on Google Earth. That is actually the power lines that you see in the movie. What we'll do now is go down to this other road down here, and we're going to go to Street View down here on this road, and you'll actually be able to see that power line. Really good view. Of course, you're looking from the backside of it, as it's seen in the movie there. But yeah, interesting note about these power lines. These same power lines are in the background, all the way from Welcome to Texarkana, all the way down to Highway 54, coming down the hill. We're on the flatbed trailer. This is the same run of power lines, probably no more than 4 or 5 miles long, but it's the same stretch. Now you get to see it. Just like I was showing you earlier on Google Earth, we are coming up the hill on Highway 54 to the roadblock. And there's the big barn I keep referencing all the time. That field is now Mundy's Mill High School. The road he went down goes to Mundy's Mill Pond. The other end of Mundy's Mill Pond is where the red van was when he picked up Sally Fields earlier in the movie. That's where they took a right to go down to right there. So there's the barn again. I'm going to go back to where I was filming the Frog intersection earlier. We're going to go up the hill right here. All right, the road used to follow the power lines. They've since moved the road over here to make an intersection. But this intersection right here is where the roadblock was. And also, this intersection is in the movie a ton. They film stuff going left and stuff going right. We're going to go right for now. We're going opposite direction of the intersection at the moment. Bandit was coming the way we're looking, so we're going opposite direction. There used to be a barn we'd be facing right here, you'd see in the movie. That's now been torn down and replaced with a school. So we'll pull off up here and try to film some of that. There's the barn at the roadblock. And this is the barn on the opening credits of the movie. All right, so top of that hill right there is where the roadblock was. You've actually come in this right direction. Bandit went up the hill, they were stopped right there, so he stood on his brakes, turned around and came back down, and he turned down this road right here, which now is a school. In the background, there was a metal barn right about here. We're gonna go turn right there. And actually, just past some trees is where Fred went for a swim, but we'll get there later. So we're gonna go see if we can get in. The Mundy's Mill is right back here. So we're gonna see if we can get back here to Mundy's Mill. And since I've already shown you Money's Mill, I want you to pay attention now in the background coming up to Willows Bend neighborhood.
This is Sheriff George Branford of Deason County, Arkansas. We are apprised.
All right, this is the old bridge jump scene, and surprisingly, some of this bridge is actually still there. I don't know how. It was already in bad shape back then.
Right here at this light, you can kind of somewhat see a change in the trees. The road used to veer off at a 45-degree angle right here. And the road went through there. And the dirt road up there, maybe it's right here. I thought it was back there.
Clear so you can
But,
stop
yeah, right
or
there.
slow down on the bridge to film.
Yeah, right there.
So the bridge right here, which we're gonna get out and actually walk on it, but just to the right there, is where the Transam jumped over the bridge. You still see the old bridge back there. Yes, we have.
All right, so the old road from Flint River Road went right down through there, and the bridge jump was right there. They built a new Flint River Road over here. We're gonna walk down to the bridge, film it from down there. But this is the U-Haul. You can get in there in the back and kind of see it. All right, so the old bridge is right there. I don't remember if I have to zoom in with the GoPro to film this. I probably had to get her to do it with her iPhone. All right, so the car goes jumping across the bridge right here. Just like that. This is the scene the movie's most famous for. So, that there's the old Flint River Road. They rebuilt that Flint River Road with this Flint River Road. Then they tore that Flint River Road down and built this Flint River Road. So yeah. The things you go through to film a Smokey and the Bandit film. We're right on the side of a really crazy highway. That right there, I'm gonna try to zoom in on mine and crop it in the editing, but there's the old bridge there. Another interesting note, the river they are jumping is the Flint River, and this river actually starts under Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta, Georgia.
See? I didn't wreck it, Sheriff.
The reason why these buildings up here are curved funny is because the road used to go down in front of them over here. And they redid the road, everything's still facing the old road over here. So yeah, that's why the roads are all. This is actually the first place we visited on the tour, but it's later in the movie, so I've edited it later in the clip here. But look at the turnaround right here, the concrete truck's pulling out of, and look at the right-hand turn Bandit's gonna take, and watch the backgrounds when Sheriff Justice get his roof ripped off. You'll see the buildings back there. You're gonna get to see all this in first person, even though it looks 50 years different, but the same stuff generally is still there.
Daddy, the top came off. No shit.
When the concrete barrier was being pulled out, I think they were pulling out right here where I'm standing. They come down the road behind me, and the sheriff's car went under it and cut the roof off right here. You'll see the buildings in the background there. They were coming from this way. The Trans Am made a hard right-hand turn and went down this road right in front of you. When they slid under and chopped the roof off, then Sheriff Justice went on that way. So this would be the cutting the roof off scene. And actually we're about to go to where the horn quit blowing. That is going to be right there, about 100 yards that way. We're going to film the next scene. So this is the first stop of the tour, although it probably won't be first in the edit.
Daddy, the top came off.
So yeah, some of those old buildings are still there. The intersection is roughly the same. That one grass median is long gone. They took that out years ago. Actually, I think my father-in-law was in a wreck right there. I believe that's why they took that intersection out. So yeah, that was, good Lord, that was 30 years ago though. So up until the 90s, the top of this hill up here, that was Terrafield Airport, but it's long since gone.
My head blew off, Daddy. I hope your goddamn head was in it.
So the old 54 goes over there. Behind the Quick Trip and all that over there is where 54 used to go. Up there on top of that hill where 54 comes in is where the when they make the left-hand turn and Junior's hat flies off, they're actually looking back to the right this way, up on top of the hill up there where Terra Field Airport used to be at. Right about where that blue roof car wash is, where that happened. There's a Waffle House there now too. That dude really wanted to get in front of me. So anyways, I got that on camera. So yeah, right up here on the left is where his hat flew off. So Junior's hat back here in the movie flew off right here on the left when they took off driving. You can see Terra Field off in the background. And quickly, we're gonna go back to that triangle I mentioned earlier, but this is right behind that barn you see in the background so many times. On the other side of the trees, this is the pond where Fred goes for a swim. Now, I watched this movie and I noticed how peaceful and quiet this road was. I mean, back in the day, it was like this. You used to drive down this road and wasn't a whole lot of traffic, and then by about the 90s, there started being a whole lot of traffic on this road, and next thing you know, somewhere around 2000 or so, they four-laned Highway 54 all the way from Fayetteville up to Jonesboro. So we were passing where the barn would have been, right about here, roughly. I don't know exactly where. That you see in the background. Right past that barn up here on the right is going to be the pond, or the White House. Is it right here? There it is, right there.
Yeah, there's the pond.
Oh yeah, there's the White House and the pond right there.
Come here, boy. Come on. Fred, don't you make me come after you. Get over here, Fred. Come here. I'm in a hurry and you want to take a swim. You drive me crazy, Fred. You just drive me crazy. Oh, get up here. What is the matter with you, Fred? That's it for you and a truck driving. I'll tell you that right now.
Another one of the scenes you got to pay attention to the background. Look at the Pizza Hut, the KFC, and the sign that says Flint River Village right there. The irony is the traffic he's stuck in, when he gets it unstuck, he's actually several miles down the road, so it's filming magic. But this was an area where this highway was actually fairly new back in the day. So it doesn't look anything like this nowadays, other than some of the buildings are still there.
Okay, so Pizza Hut was there, had the sign there. Flint River Village sign there, KFC right behind it. You can see all that in the background when he hits the horn and he's in traffic and the horn gets stuck. Now, where he actually kicked it at was about 4 miles down that way on the right-hand side. But when it gets stuck, he's right here. He's in the traffic. So all this stuff is in the background. You can see all these signs. They say Flint River Village, KFC, and that used to be Pizza Hut back when I was a kid. It ain't been a Pizza Hut in probably 20 years though, so unfortunately. And we just came from up there where we did Fred swimming at. We're about to take a right, go down this road right here, and that is where the Transam jump was over to Flint River. About 1.5 miles down the road on the right, so we're going there now.
Here you can see the Pizza Hut and the Flint River Village sign real clear. Like I mentioned in a previous scene, Highway 54, Flint River Road, Terrell Boulevard used to all meet up differently. Right back here on the other side of the KFC, there's a car wash at a blue roof. That was the old intersection.
All right, so this building right here used to be a Pizza Hut. And you'll see the sign right there that says Flint River Village. The reason why we're getting out here is that when, two things. I just narrated at the blue building down there, right? Somewhere down around there is where 54 used to come out. But where that came out right there is where they Junior's hat flew off his head. And you can see off kind of the road turns left right there off the hill in the background was Terra Airport or Airfield was up on top of the hill. I'll clip that in a minute.
So where the horn got stuck in traffic in real life actually is a busy intersection. This right here is not the same intersection. This is actually earlier where the roof got cut off, just 100 yards down the road. So we're going back here again. and this is where the horn gets unstuck. I guess they didn't want to film in the other area and block traffic all day long, so they come over here and film this part. Look here at the tan building in the background. That's gonna be, it's actually still there today. There's another building right up against it. So you'll see that coming up here in just a second.
It never occurred to me. Well, please, sir, you proceed immediately and...
And we'll talk more about this scene, but watch as he drives off, and you'll see the 18-wheeler drive by. That's the same intersection where we pick up Frog. You'll even see the tire marks on the pavement. All right, so back here, top right of the screen, that's where the concrete barrier came out when he drove through and cut his roof off. I mean, you're 100 yards from that same location. So it's pretty cool filming magic. All right, you'll see this stuff in the background when Sheriff Justice's car comes over this way. His horn is blowing, and he gets pulled over by the deputy, and he kicks the horn off. He pulled over right there, and right there, right past where that turn is over there, there's a car lot. You see the flags waving in the background for the car lot, and where that white car is pulling out right there is where we just did the roof getting cut off scene. So literally 100 yards from that scene where they filmed the horn blowing. Now, this is where the horn was kicked and he shut it off. Actually, where the horn got stuck and got blowing is about 5 miles that way. So we'll get there later on. All right, on to the next one. So look at the tan building up next to the brick building. That's the same tan building that was in the background. Before we go, you'll recognize this building here in the background. And then they were right there. So they're on the side of the road right there talking, and then when they film back this way, you can see the sheriff yelling at the little deputy then, or the state patrol it was. All right, so straight ahead, you see his mailboxes on the left-hand side. This is where Bandit catches up to Snowman. You see there's power lines off up here on top of the hill. Behind these pine trees, you can't see them. I'll have to pull a Google Earth or something so you can see them, but when I go to the right, I'm going to show you the power lines off in the distance right there. So all the really high power lines are over there on the right. Bandit catches up to Snowman, and he goes off here on the side of the road, up here I think about a mile or so down the road. He goes off in the kind of in the right hand side, takes out a bunch of mailboxes to get around him. So that's where we're at now for physically filming. This is the end of the tour. On that terrible bit of disappointment, the tour has ended. Thank you everybody for coming along. 1870 off-road. We're on the Smokey and the Bandit tour with wicked Jeeps. We brought one of them behind us.
Jeeps be jeeping.
Jeeps be jeeping.
Jeeps be jeeping.
There we go. All right, that's it for the planned part of the film. As we're passing where the jump was, right back there.